Hey, welcome to the channel again. On special request of my friend Scott, he's asked me to make roulade today. So, we're going to prep some roulade. We went to the store on Wednesday and we found some thin sliced beef, and now we're going to prep it. So this is a two-stage process, so let's follow along. So we've got the meat laid out. In this case, I think I got 7 slices. We're going to start with a little bit of salt and pepper to taste across the meat. A little salt, a little pepper, and again, you don't need a whole lot. Now we're going to take some Dijon mustard. Mine's in this convenient little applicator. Just kind of a dollop, maybe, if I can get it to come out. Oh, that's an amazing noise, isn't it? I promise you won't have that reaction after the roulade. Come on. There we go. Never fails when you try to do something, it makes funny noises. All right, so I got my Dijon. I got to get me a little spoon here. Now we're going to rub this on the meat. Just kind of cover as much of the meat as you can. And if you got to put a little more Dijon on, that's fine too. This thing's going to have a lot of flavor, so you don't need to get too crazy. So we're going to rub this all over, all 7 pieces, because my friend Scott, he's a hungry boy. He likes to eat. So we're going to make sure he gets a couple of these. And I know he's going to probably eat his wife's roulade too. So, so we'll make sure we have plenty to go around. All right. So there's our mustard. Now I'm going to put on some onions. Now, bear in mind, I'm kind of putting everything at one end, right? Because we're going to be rolling these things up. And if you start putting this stuff in the middle, it's going to make it a little more difficult to roll. So I want to make sure you got plenty of onions. So add some more if you have to. This one needs a little bit more. This one needs a little bit more. Okay, now we're going to put on some pickles. So I'm going to put on 2 pickles per chunk of meat, and hopefully I pulled out enough. Otherwise, I'll have to go back to the jar. Nope, I'm not going to have enough. That's fine. Let's get some more pickles. Here they are. How convenient. So this is a recipe that was kind of handed down to me by my mom. Now, she never actually taught me how to make it. I just watched her make it, and I'm kind of stealing it from her. So, Mom, thank you for all the great cooking over the years. It's phenomenal. And I enjoy people being hungry and eating. So I'm gonna fold, because I got full-length bacon, we're gonna fold one in half per piece of meat and put it right on top of the pickle. And I did par cook these for just a second. These were in the oven at 350 just because I just don't like floppy bacon, but it's gonna be fully cooked by the time we're done anyway, because this is going into, after this spends about 6 minutes on the stove to brown, it's gonna go into the oven for an hour. So it's gonna be fully cooked. So here we go. We got our roulades. Looks like I got extra stuff. And now we're going to roll. So you want to have this kind of a medium tight roll. And you'll note I've got toothpicks at the ready. We're going to apply just 1 toothpick per roll. Put it in an angle. Just kind of hold it together. And hopefully right now my pan is getting piping hot that these are going to go into. So one toothpick, because trust me, when you go to eat these, you don't want to get a toothpick in your mouth because you forgot how many toothpicks you put in these things. Nothing's worse than a toothpick to the gums. So nice medium roll. And the idea here behind the roll and the toothpick is to make sure this thing doesn't come apart while you're browning it and while you're cooking it in the oven. You want them to stay nice and together so that these pickles and all this yummy onions, all that stays intact, wrapped up in this little piggy blanket of usually it's eye of round beef. In this case, our butcher already had this pre-cut, so I didn't have to ask for it. Almost done. Got 2 more after this, and then these go into a piping hot pan, and it's probably super piping hot right now already. So get these all rolled up. Now I had no idea how many slices of meat were in this package that I got from my local butcher. In this case, it was Smith's for those of you in Utah, Kroger for those of you in the rest of the country in the USA. And if you're in Europe, well, get it from whoever you source your meat from. Whoops, I kind of fouled that one up. So let me readjust. This is why I'm wearing the gloves, because I don't want to get all this mustard and stuff all over me. Here we go. Okay, now these are ready. I can get rid of the gloves now, and let's go to the stovetop. Now, on the stovetop, I've been preheating a pan. You want that piping hot. Now, in the pan, I'm going to apply some bacon grease that my lovely wife has been kind enough to save for me. And you can use anything. You can use butter. You can use tallow. I mean, whatever you want to use. But in this case, I'm using bacon grease. Woo, smoky. Now I got to find my tongs. Here we go. And rule of cooking: when you use tongs, you got to click them for luck. So always remember to click for luck. Oh, piping hot. That's what we're looking for. Oh, did I forget a toothpick? No, there we go. All right, so into this pan. And of course, I should probably turn my fan on, but this will calm down here in a minute. Like I said, I got this pan piping hot, so it's been sitting on the stove for a good 10-15 minutes. So looks like I've got not enough room to do this correctly, but I'm going to try to squash it in anyway because the sides of this pan are super hot. Now, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to throw in a couple of squares of onions, some onion. That's about half of an onion from the ones that I diced up. And now we're going to let this sit for a minute, and we'll come back here in just a sec. All right, so in the pan, I cooked these for no more than 6 minutes, about 3 minutes per side. And the goal here is to brown them, not necessarily to cook them. So I'm going to take the last one out, and we're going to reuse this pan because look at all these great drippings here. So we're going to reuse this. I'm going to let it cool just a little bit so I don't splash myself. But what we're going to do is, while I prepped all this, I boiled some potatoes. We're going to use the water from the potatoes. We're not going to necessarily, well, ooh, oh, a little hot there. That should be enough gravy. So we're going to use that. Because we had extra stuff, onions and whatnot, I'm going to go ahead and put those in there because those will render down. So we got some extra diced onions. I got some extra bacon. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of that in there. And now we're going to put in a little bit of cold water. It's about maybe 5 tablespoons. And then we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. So, I get it. 2 teaspoons, I should say. So we're going to one, 2. Now, I'm going to stir that all up. You want to kind of get some of the meat and whatnot that stuck to the side of the pan in there with this. So now we're going to put that back on the heat. Obviously this thing's hot, so I don't want to touch that with my bare skin. So we're going to put that back on the heat. We're going to bring that to a boil. And meanwhile, we're going to, while that's going, we're going to go ahead and put these away to just keep them warm. Because these are going to go back into the pan here shortly. So these are going to go, I'm just going to put these into the microwave that is not on, just to keep them warm. And we'll be back here in just a minute. All right, so the gravy's come to a boil. You want to let that boil for a bit. And here in a little bit, we're going to take an immersion blender and we're going to blend up all of those beautiful bits. And then we're going to turn it down to a simmer. In the interim, we're going to take our roulades and we're going to put these in the oven. So I'm going to put these on this pan. And these are going to go into a 350 degree oven, which has been preheating for me because I had bacon in it. And because I still have a little bit of extra onion, we're going to go ahead and kind of do this. Use up all the onion. Why waste? I still got extra bacon, so we're going to go ahead and do this too. That'll provide some extra flavor into the roulades. So now this goes into the oven at 350 while we get our gravy going. And into the oven it goes. And then we'll be back to finish the gravy after it finishes boiling, and we want to break down those onions a little bit. And then we're going to blend it all up and turn it into a darker liquid. And then the final step to the gravy, by the way, we will add, I don't know, and it's to taste, we're going to add some soy sauce to it to add some salt and some color. So we'll come check that here in a minute. Okay, one. All right, so now we're going to hit it with the immersion blender. We want to break down all those onions and all those little bits to create a more liquid gravy rather than a chunky onion-based gravy. And then I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce to add salt and color. And then this will sit on the simmer while the roulades finish in the oven. All right.